Imagine you're sitting at home alone on a late afternoon. You've had lunch, the book you're reading is still sitting on the table, your phone is silent, no plans, and you realize you haven't really talked to anyone today. Maybe it's been a few days. I'm Dr. Saul Whitman, and I need to be straight with you about something. Loneliness isn't just an uncomfortable emotion. It's changing the structure of your brain in ways we're only now beginning to understand. And sadly, none of us were prepared for that. But here's some good news. We can do something about it. If you're feeling like you're slowly losing touch with the people around you, you're not the only one. I see this every week in my practice. Smart, thoughtful patients, they raised children, worked hard, took care of their families, and now they're realizing their social circle is shrinking. Friends move away, kids are busy, you're tired and just want to sit in the backyard with tea, watching the trees and the sunset. That's normal life. But our brains weren't designed to handle that normal. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what's happening in the brain when we feel lonely, why it affects memory, mood, and the brain's resistance to disease. And more importantly, we'll talk about practical, no-nonsense things you can start doing today. This is a simple conversation between me, an older doctor, and my patient. The brain is a social organ. This is what most people don't realize. Your brain wasn't just born to solve problems or remember names. It was shaped over millions of years of evolution to connect with others. Every time you talk to someone, share a story, or simply sit next to a trusted friend, your brain is working. It's coordinating emotions, decoding body language, predicting responses, and constantly adjusting. That's exercise for the brain. But when you spend too much time alone, for too long, or feel lonely, even when people are around, the brain loses that stimulation. It's like a muscle that isn't being used. And like a muscle, the brain starts to atrophy. Current research shows that chronic loneliness increases the risk of dementia by up to 31%. That number is equivalent to not exercising or smoking cigarettes. Really serious. But it can also be intervened. What happens in the brain when you feel lonely? Let me break this down into 3 important parts so it's easier to understand. Part 1, stress hormones and inflammation. When you feel lonely, your brain sees it as a threat. Really. Our ancient brain learned that isolation means danger, so it activates the alarm system. Do you remember the last time you felt really stressed? Heart racing, shoulders tight? That's cortisol, the stress hormone. It rises when you're lonely. And if that happens day after day, week after week, the brain starts to take damage. The immune system creates inflammation. At first, that's a protective mechanism. But chronic inflammation damages nerve cells, prevents the brain from creating new cells. Over time, it increases the risk of Alzheimer's. You don't feel it right away, you just notice you're more tired, or forgetting more, or your mood is heavier. Part 2, the brain shrinks in important areas. Now this is the part that really gets my attention. Scientists have scanned the brains of thousands of people, and they discovered this. There's a tiny brain region called the hippocampus. It stores your memory, people's names, faces, where you put your car keys. In lonely people, that region is smaller. And that's why they start forgetting more. This is also the first area damaged in Alzheimer's disease. Not everyone, not every lonely person loses brain cells, but studies show a clear connection. The longer you're lonely, the more the brain changes. What makes me optimistic? These changes can be reversed. When people start reconnecting, the brain starts to recover. That's why we shouldn't ignore this problem. Part 3, social skills become dull. This is the part patients rarely tell me about, but I see it all the time. When you're alone too long, you start to forget how to connect. Brain scan studies show that lonely people's brains respond less to social cues like eye contact, facial expressions, or tone of voice. They trust others less, and they feel interaction becomes harder. Then you fall into a loop. You feel lonely, so you avoid people. You avoid people, you get lonelier. But here's what's important. That's a pattern, not a sentence. The brain learned it, and the brain can relearn it. And that's what we'll talk about next, not theory, but practical steps. What really helps, I'm not going to give you a long list of what you should do. That's not how life works. But I can tell you what we see works in research and in clinical practice. Quality matters more than quantity. You don't need a packed social calendar. You need 1 or 2 connections you truly trust. A friend you can talk straight with, a sibling you stay in touch with regularly, a small group where you feel you belong. The brain doesn't need many people. It needs emotional safety. Do structured things. Last week, I had a 67-year-old patient tell me, "I'll try to see people more." I asked her, "When? With whom?" She didn't know. That's the problem. I should never becomes reality. Instead, I told her, choose one specific thing. A class, a walking group. Same group of people, same time, every week. 3 months later, she came back. She said she felt like herself again. The key thing is, it must repeat. Your brain needs familiarity to trust. It needs time to relax. A one-time interaction doesn't do much. But meeting every week for 3 months, that's when changes happen. I've had patients tell me, "But I still have family. I shouldn't feel lonely." Loneliness isn't about counting people around you. It's an emotional feeling. You can be lonely in a crowded room. You can feel connected with just one person. If you feel lonely, it's real, and it deserves attention. If you're feeling lonely and sad, or have no motivation, or lost interest in things you used to love, that could be depression. And depression needs treatment. Loneliness and depression often go together. One makes the other worse. So if you're struggling, don't try to power through alone. That's when we can help. I know this sounds like a lot to do, and if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, that's completely normal. You don't need to do everything tomorrow. You just need to pick one thing, one call, one class, one step. That's how the brain likes to learn, one step at a time. Let me be clear about something. If you're feeling lonely, it's not a moral failing. It's not a character problem, and it doesn't mean something is fundamentally wrong with you. It means you're human, and humans need humans. I've seen patients in their 70s make new friendships. I've seen men I never thought would join a support group, and they ended up being the most active participants. I've seen women who divorced, lost partners, or moved to a new city and found ways to reconnect. Your brain can still change. It's called neuroplasticity, and it doesn't stop working when you turn 60 or 70. What the brain has learned, it can relearn, but it needs practice, and it needs patience. So there we are. Loneliness isn't just emotion. It changes how the brain works, how it responds to stress, how it processes memory, and how it connects with others. But like many things in medicine, awareness is the first step, and connection is the second. You don't need to fix everything at once. Just start somewhere. A phone call, a walk with a friend, a class you've been thinking about, a conversation you've been putting off. Your brain will notice, and it will respond. And if you're feeling lonely right now, you're not the only one. Many people watching this video are going through something similar. Sometimes just knowing you're not alone is already a small step. If you want to share your story, leave a line below. Doesn't need to be long, even one sentence works. I read every comment, and the community here does too. And if there's another health topic you want me to explain, let me know. I make these videos for you. And I want to talk about things that truly matter to you. Take care of yourself. And if you're struggling, don't keep it inside. Tell someone, maybe your doctor, a friend, or even here in this community. We're here, and you're not alone. I'm Saul Whitman. See you in the next video.